All right, guys. Welcome back to another video today. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. Are doing great on this day, and you're doing your thing. So this video is my dev blog number 2 for this series. As a recap from the previous blog, I talked about bringing my old game into Unity, and you can watch the first video. Because if you haven't watched it yet, feel free to go back and watch it first and come back here. I will put a link to the video or a card or whatever in the video, so you click on it and then you can go to that video. So yeah, so that's a little recap from the previous one. As I wanted to bring my old game that I worked on into Unity, and this time I wanted to use Unity Dots. The data-oriented technology stack is something new that is released. I think it was in March. They made this package available as a full release, right? I did touch it back in the day, back in like 2018, maybe 2019. Pretty sure it was 2018, and it was super early stages on it. On that, it was a preview package, and I did mess around a little bit. It was, compared to how it is now as a full release, it's a lot better now than it was back in the day. It's a lot easier to use. I mean, it's still a very difficult concept to grasp, right? Because you need to know your data and how to manage it correctly, right? But compared to how it was back in the day, when I used it in 2018, 2019, it's a lot easier to use. And yeah, so I wanted to use the Unity Dots in my project and did this space shooter because I want to have a whole bunch of stuff going on and see how cool it will be and how much the mobile game can, like a mobile like a Android and iOS can handle. And yeah, so that's the main reason I wanted to use, and that's where I'm at. So in the last blog I mentioned, or what you saw, was there was nothing much going on. It was just the player. It was just you were able to move the player around. There was no collisions, and there was enemies spawning doing their patterns, and that's it. Oh yeah, and also asteroids are coming in, but you couldn't interact with them. You couldn't do nothing with them, right? And that's all that it was. So let's talk about what other changes have I done since the last blog, which was about 2 weeks ago. But I'm not always working like full day on this. Sometimes, majority of the times, I'm only working like 6 hours on this project. So when I say 2 weeks, it's not really fully 2 weeks, but just wanted to bring that up because then if I was working on it fully, I'll probably be further along. So let's talk about what other changes have I done since the last blog. Done a couple things, so let's go through them. So one thing I added is the player has health now. This is what is going to be used to say, hey, when is my player going to die and all that, right? So once the health goes to 0, it's game over. I've added XP, this is a way to level up your ship, right? So you acquire a certain amount of XP, you go to the next level, and on each level you gain a new projectile, right? So at level 1 you have 1 projectile, and level 2 you will have another projectile, and when you're on level 2 you shoot level 1's projectile and you shoot the level 2 projectile. So you will have 2 types that are shooting at the same time. And then you have, when you go to level 3, you're able to shoot level 1 and 2's projectile, and then the new one, the level 3. So you have 3 projectiles shooting at the same time, and so on, etc. So as of right now, I only go up to level 4. I don't know if I want to go higher. I will have to think of other weapons that I can add. I'm still thinking about it, but so right now it's level 4, and that's as high as it can go at the moment. But if you guys have any ideas, like, hey, this would be cool if your player ship can shoot this and blah blah, then feel free to post in the comments and let me know. And I updated the ship. I using one of those boxer ships that I mentioned. If you were watching my game engine series, I briefly talked about it. So I ended up adding those. I will show you guys once I talk about what I've changed, or after I talk about AIs as well, since I also changed their voxels. So, but once I get to the AI part, we can talk. I can show you guys. Okay, and then I added pickups. I plan to add multiple pickups, but as of right now, since the 2 weeks, I've only added power containers. These power containers is when you collect them. This is what increases your XP. You got 3 different types of containers. One is small, which gives you a small amount of XP. I got a mid, which gives you a mid amount of XP, and then large, which gives you a large amount of XP. But I plan to add more pickups as I keep going. So the other one is AIs. I've added a new pattern since the last time, and I added this like figure 8 pattern that they have, and now they able to shoot as well. So they shoot for about 4 different types of projectiles, right? I don't remember. Yeah, it has to be 4. Okay, so they have 4 different types. One is the straight pattern, I guess you could call them patterns, right? Straight pattern where they just shoot in front wherever they're looking at currently at the moment that the projectile is about to be shot. I have one that's a spiral, which shoots spiral, right? It has 4 different points, and this point rotates and then it shoots projectiles, making it look like it's shooting in a spiral form. I have a target, which this projectile will target the last position of the player and shoot in that direction. And then I have a spread, which works the same as straight. So he shoots, I think, about 2 or 3 projectiles in front of them, wherever they're looking at. And yeah, that's what the 4 different projectile types that I've added for them. I might add, you know what, I forgot, I have another one as well. It's called circular. So basically it shoots a circular pattern of projectiles shooting outward, and it looks like a circle. And I plan to use the spiral and the circle pattern for like the bosses, right? I don't have bosses yet, but at least that's the plan as of right now. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna be doing for them, but when I get to I'll think about it. But for sure, I feel like spiral and like a circle would be cool for the bosses once I start implementing them. So let me show you guys the ships that I added. So let me get that in the prefabs, and let's go into ships. And there's all the ships. So let me go with the player first. Now you can see the player here. The reason why it looks all weird is because of the light. Oops, on rotation. So let's move it up here. Okay, can I disable light here if I wanted to? There we go. Cool. So there we go. So we have this ship here. This is the player ship, right? This is all boxylated. Boxylated. I don't know if that's an actual word, but this is the main player ship here. And the rest of the ones that are here are the enemies. We have this guy. This Camel Stellar Jet. I did get these assets from someone that I found online that I'm able to use it for free. I will post this link in the description if anybody's interested in downloading his assets. So you got this. You got a Dual Striker. Galactic. This is actually a pretty sweet one right here. Oh wow, can I just keep that on? That'd be kind of sweet if it was on at all times. So we got this little guy over here. We got Infrared Furtive, which is the cool one here. So I want to modify this so that the like this bottom part, like the pink part, is supposed to be the thrusters, right? So I want to modify it so that it glows with the bloom. But that's something that I'll need to update. I'll need to look into it later. and figure that out. And maybe some of these colors over here will probably pop out as well. And that's the infrared furtive. You got interstellar runner, which you saw it earlier. Actually, and some of these are going to be the bosses. I'm still unsure which ones are going to be the ones going to be boss ships, right? I don't know, but hey, that's something that I need to figure out. So we got this guy over here, the meteor slicer, like a recon. This is, I think this is a super small one, right? Yeah, this is the baby ship. I'm gonna call it baby ship. I might make it a little bit bigger, or maybe I just keep it, and I don't know. I need to figure out what would be a cool way to make this guy. Maybe it just, you have a whole bunch of them coming on screen, and that's it. And it's all you have to do is just shoot them down. Then you have the player, which I already showed you. We got this guy here. I think this guy might be a boss. I mean, we could show some lighting on it, but since it's like, it's pretty flat, right? Because they're voxels, the lighting makes it super white. Or you know what? Maybe I should remove this. I think that's a specular light. Pretty sure that's the specular lighting on it. Any way to remove specular lighting if I didn't want it. Okay, that looks better. I'm gonna have to remove the specular lighting on this, or if there's any way to, no, it doesn't give you like an option to like how much specular lighting you want on it. Nah, it's fine. Cool. So I just need to toggle that off. Cool. So here we go. We got that guy over here. And we got this dude. Let me do the same thing on this. With specular lighting on it. And we got this guy over here. Pretty sweet over here. And we got this guy. And it's also, I am showing you guys the ships. I don't know if this is it can be final anyway. I may end up changing it later on. But so far this looks pretty cool though. I'm not gonna lie, I like this one. Pretty sweet. And the last one, the warship. Let's do the same thing on those guys. Let's remove the specular lighting on it because it's too high. There we go. So it would be sweet if I can find a way to make this so that this part glows. And I'm gonna have to do some emission or something with it, and update the texture or something. I need to look into it. I'm pretty sure I think I know how to do it, but I'll have to see. I have to use like emission and update the texture and make everything black except for this color, right? I think that's how you will do it, but I'll eventually figure it out. But yeah, that's about it, guys. And I actually have a scene on this, so you can see the different sizes on them. Let me find a scene. Ships. There we go. So I have the player ship down here, back here, right? Yeah, there we go. Sweet. So there you go. So you got the player ship down here. And then you have all the rest. You got the super small one over here. And I think I put these on top because these are going to be the bosses. Right? But then again, like I said, I don't know if this is going to be final or not. I'm still trying to figure out if I can find better ships. Buy some ships out there. I will need to look into it. I would love to be able to do this myself, but I'm not a modeler. I tried to build my own boxer ship, and I need more practice, and I don't think I have the time to do that. If I want to continue working on this, you know, it will take a little bit longer because I need to get used to it and I have to create my own ships and stuff. But yeah, so I'm still unsure, but I will put the link to these assets. They're free if you want to use them. I'll put the link on the description of this video. And then I have hazards or obstacles. So basically you will have level or a certain wave where you can have obstacles coming down, and you have to shoot through them in order to keep advancing forward, right? Or in order to avoid damage. And this will happen. It will start at level 4, or wave 4, and then every 10th wave after that, you will go into this wave where hazards will come down that you have to shoot through and navigate through. So it will start at level 4, wave 4, then wave 14, 24, 34, and so on, right? And the other thing, I mentioned power containers, but I think I forgot to mention how they spawn. So whenever you destroy a ship, an AI ship, an asteroid, or one of these hazards, they each have a certain percentage that they can spawn these containers. So in order to acquire power containers, you have to destroy AI ships. And then of course, collision. I've been mentioning like payload can take damage, and you shoot projectiles and all that. So you're now able to do damage now, or you're able to do collision, which does the respective thing that they need to do when they collide. So for player, a player can collide with AI projectiles, hazards, asteroids, and other ship AI. And when player goes into collides with them, the player will take damage, health damage, and then they'll also take XP damage. And by that I mean, like, every time it gets hit, the player gets hit, XP will get reduced. So this is a way for you to, like, oh hey, I'm a level 2, but then I take too much damage, and then we'll go to level 1, and then you lose level 2's projectile, and you will stay in level 1's projectile, right? And won't be able to shoot one at that time in that example. And also, I forgot to also mention about XP is that XP also goes down over time slowly. So you always have to be like keeping track of getting containers and all that, so you can keep your level up higher and high without getting it lower, right? Asteroids collisions. They take damage and explode, and it has a chance to drop power containers. For AI, the same thing. They have a higher chance to drop power containers. And hazards, they take damage and the same thing, and they have a smaller chance to drop power containers. And then I added UI, which I'm still in the works on it. So if you look at it here, I added this UI on the top, right? The red one is the health of the ship. The other bar above the red bar is the XP, and those 4 little dots is what determines the level that you're in. I am still, this is work in progress, so I'm starting to figure out what's the best way to show this. I initially had it around the player ship, so whenever you moved around, it will be able to, this UI will be following the character, right, or the player of the ship, and I didn't like it too much, so I left it to the top for now. So I'm trying to figure that out at the moment, but if you guys have any ideas, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely be looking at it and take into consideration. So that's for now. I still have to do a whole bunch of other UI, which I'll mention later on. So let's continue. The other thing is I added particles. As I mentioned earlier, the collisions with asteroids, AIs, and hazards, they explode, right? So I added explosions, some explosion particles, which you will see once I start playing it, and I added hit effects. So when a projectile hits an object, it will show this hit effects particles, and you're able to see that so explosions and hit effects particles. There's a couple of them that randomizes which one is going to show up. So each time you get a hit something, you will see a different hit effects. So yeah, so let's show you guys what I've worked on so far. let's change this to the game and make it maximized, and let's play through it. Yeah, so let's start this bad boy, shall we? Cool. So you can see they got different AIs. They're able to shoot. So as always, this is still not final. I'm still trying to figure out how to make this better. See, you can see they have power containers. You have to collect it. This is the small one. The one that's coming down here is the middle one. Ooh, they're dropping that. A lot of them right now. Let's go. So yeah, all of this stuff that you're seeing right now is still a work in progress, and they still need to tweak and refine. So that's something I still need to figure out, but I'll do that once at the end, once I have majority of things working. So every time you destroy a wave of a group of AI, you advance to the next wave. So I'm on wave 3 now. You can destroy asteroids if you want. You can see the hit effects. Ooh. All right, buddy. Yeah, the thing is, oh, here we go. I barely made it to that and it went back down. So here is the hazards that I'm talking about right here. So you have to shoot through them and to advance to the next part without getting hit. I'm still working on it, how fast it should move down. I just added this yesterday. So once you shoot all of them down, or if any of them go out of screen, then it advances to the next level or wave. So now in wave 5. And I can see the XP goes down. I'm gonna be eventually removing this. So because you have the bar now. Oops, I don't want. But I'm just putting that right now just to visually see what's the current value of XP. And as you can see, it's going down over time. And then let's wait for the next. If I feel like these guys are way too small, I need to figure out a better way to. And as you can see, I take one, you take damage, it goes down, and I don't want to keep losing it. So yeah, so for these guys, I still figure out. I still need to tweak them. For one, they're shooting. Their weapons that they're shooting is too high. So I need to determine what kind of weapons they're going to be shooting. So for all enemies, I need to make that change. But so right now they just shoot any random projectiles. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And the other thing I need to figure out is how I'm going to be moving the player. I don't know if this is how I like it. I see now you have the next level of projectiles you're shooting. Now you're shooting blue projectiles all at the same time. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Oh, this is the figure 8 that I was talking about. I just added. Woo! Look at all those stuff going on. I still need to add boss AI. I'm assuming that like the boss will be like every 10th level. I think that's probably a good way to make it. But yeah, that's where it's at right now, guys. You can see now this is a new pattern that they're in. Oh man, these little guys are shooting like really crazy amount of projectiles. Oh, but yeah. I was mentioning, I wanted to. I got an error, which is not letting me shoot anymore. So wherever that error is, it's not making me shoot anymore. The only thing is figure out how the player is going to be moving. I don't know if this is how I want it. Right, so you have, I'm using my keyboard for now, but when you're using it on your mobile device, you'll have this joystick. So if you click on the left side of the screen, you get this joystick that you move the player around. I don't know if this is how I want it, or should I put it wherever my finger is at, right? So whenever my finger is moving is where the ship is going to be at. I need to test it a little bit. I don't know. And then if you click on the right side, which somehow the right side kind of messed up with that error that I got, but the right side determines what direction the ship is going to be facing and shooting. But yeah, that's about it. That is crazy. It's crazy. I was trying to figure out if there's anything else that I'd like to show you guys. Yeah, there's still like a lot of things that I've been thinking about, figure out if that's something I want to update this game to or not, since you're able to move in any direction like this instead of being always top to bottom, right? And you're able to, like, enemies come from different directions, the screen, asteroids as well. I'm wondering if I can move this world so you could traverse to the left side. Right? I can go to the left side and the camera moves with it to a certain point, right? And then be able to do all that. But by doing, I don't know if that's something I want to do, but if I do that means I'm going to have to change the logic of the AI, and I need to figure that out. So I don't know. I guess I could keep playing. I gotta tweak some of these values so not all the ships shoot all of these all the, like, the red one should be for maybe for higher, bigger ships, right? Not for smaller little guys. And I'm trying to figure out, and maybe increase the size of these small ones. They're really small. They're supposed to be small, but they're the easy ones, right? They're the easy ships. And maybe these ones don't shoot, and I'm gonna have to change the way that they move, so maybe they just keep coming down from top to bottom instead. Yeah, all these things that keep in my mind right now to figure out like what I want to do with them, right? Like what will make this fun? What will make this fun? And also for you guys, feel free to give me feedback. I see you guys see this and see if you're like, hey, this is super cool. I like this, how it looks, or like, hey, if you did this or tried this certain way of how to play the game, feel free to post in the comments. I'm open to feedback. Always open and to hear where you guys have any ideas. Yeah, I mean, for this I like it. Also, as you can see, I'm also doing Bloom. That's the only thing I'm doing because post-processing on mobile is also not that great, but it's working for me and it's doing all right. I tested this on Android already, Android device, and it's running pretty good. It's still a 60 FPS constantly, so that means I could keep pushing this a little bit for more. Maybe I was thinking maybe adding more projectiles, right? Like, this is already like a crazy amount of projectiles, but well, not crazy, but yeah, I could do a little bit more, right? But I want to see how much I can do and push it to the limit, guys. Push it to the limit with using Unity dots and see how far I can go. But yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. What do you guys think of it? If you watched the previous one until now, what do you guys think of this? How do you guys feel like about this? Any ideas to improve it? Feedback? I need to figure out what this error is. So something went out of range using the burst compiler. So AI, something went out of balancing AI. Interesting. Interesting. Cool. So, I'm not gonna really show much of what I've done in code, just because everything is similar to how it was, as I showed you in the last video. If you want to go a little bit more in depth on what I went through making this using Unity dots, feel free to watch the previous video, because I went a little bit more in depth on it, and how I made this project. Right? Hold on. Did it went out? Let me. 62. There's nothing here. It's fun. So something went out of bounds here somewhere. So I'll look at that later. So everything's similar to when it comes to code. You create systems, and these systems are the ones that update your entities, right? That you created. And also as a, what's the good word? What's a word of caution, or just letting you guys know I'm still new to dots. I'm still learning this. So, and maybe there's other ways, better ways to do it. But I'm still learning. So let me know if you guys are watching and say, hey, you can use this class or function or whatever, and this is a better way to do it. Feel free to post in the comments. But I'm just showing you what I'm doing currently and learning as I go. So. But yeah, so you create these systems that updates your entities the way that you want them to update, right? So if I look at the pickup move system that inherits from iSystem, this pickup move system is what moves the pickups, right? It moves it down the screen. And all you have to do when it comes to creating systems is just creating the class, and Unity handles on creating this and iterating through this class already without you needing to do anything, right? So once you create this class, Unity creates it for you at runtime. Under the system tabs, you can able to see all the systems that Unity is using, right? It has an initialization group, it has an update group, and it has a pre-late update. When you create your first system, either if it's system based or an iSystem, and you don't do anything else other than just creating this class and with no attributes or anything, by default it creates an update function, an update group under this filter called simulation system group. So if I were to run it right now, as you can see right now, it's running. It has a couple of systems already, and you don't see any other systems that I've created in here. But if I were to run it right now, I maybe don't do it in full screen. Let's do play focused. So if I were to run it right now, and if I scroll down, you can see all the different spawner systems. You got asteroids, projectile moving system, and you can see all the things that you're doing in there, right? And the things that you're querying and all that. And then you can see, hey, here we go, the pickup move system, right? And this is where you create it. But you also have, you could customize it. And by customizing it, I mean, you can move it into other, like maybe you want to have a system that does an initialization group instead, or a pre-late update. And each of these has their own filters called you say initialization system group. You have one presentation system group, and for the update, like as I mentioned earlier, it has a simulation system group. And so how would you move it to other systems? And it's very simple, and just all you have to do is create add an attribute on top. So in here you would create the open close brackets, and you will say updating group, and you will say type of, and inside in here you will write the name of that filter that I mentioned. So if you want to do it in the station group, you do it in the initialization system group. So in here you will type in initialization system group. So now if I were to run it, let's save it. Hopefully it doesn't give me any errors from doing that. I don't think so, but all right, so let's run it. Cool. So I hope I didn't get any errors. And if I were to look in the update, I will not be able to see it anymore. It's not in here. So let's close this, open initialization system group, and there you go. It's in an initialization group. And you can do this for any other system. So you have an initialization system group. You got, by default it goes into update, so you probably don't have to do anything. But if you want another prelay update, you would say presentation system group, right? So in here you will say presentation system group. And yeah, that's all you need to do if you want to move it to a certain way, because maybe you want to have a system that updates earlier. So I know you have other ones as well. I don't want to go too crazy on this, but say there's another one that says update after or before. So in here you can say if you have another system or any built-in systems from Unity, you can then say, hey, I wanted this to update before the, let's say, pickup system or the spawner system. I'm going to do type of this, right? Type of that, and then you type in the name of the system that you have, and then it will update after that system. So there's other ways you can do this as well. So you can configure it as the way that you want it. But yeah, as I mentioned before, everything else I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I've shown you how it works when it comes to systems. So for, let's say, for the pickup system, how it moves it, you create the system, you create a job, and in this job it will execute for all entities because it's an iJob entity. So it will execute for all entities that are active in the system, and it will execute this job for the ones that have this pickup move aspect components. So if I were to go inside this class or script, so this aspect, so it will iterate through all these entities and will call and execute this logic for all entities that have a pickup tag component, a local transform component, a pickup component, and a speed component. This is the minimum amount of components that the entity has to have in order for it to execute this logic, for it to move down, right, and do this logic here, right? So my player will never ever go here because it doesn't have a pickup tag, or it doesn't have a pickup and all this kind of stuff. Nobody else will go in here except for pickups, or as long as it has this minimum amount of components already. So this acts like a query so that the move system is able to execute jobs for that certain entity. And that's it. I do this for almost everything here. So for player movement, for AIs, when they spawn and all that, they have their own spawner system. They have AIs have their own move system, just like pickup move aspect. The AIs have their own and all that, and that's about it. The only thing that's different here is how I'm able to spawn explosions and the hit effects, right? I couldn't find anything on how to use particle system in the ECS and dots. I was not able to figure it out, or I'm not sure if there's a way to do it yet. And if there is, I couldn't find it, but feel free to let me know in the comments if you guys know how to create one. But since I was not able to find it, I was not able to use dots with it, so I had to use the game objects way, the managed way, and I had to do it outside because inside iSystems I cannot do any managed systems or classes or scripts in here, otherwise it will error out. I have to use system base in order to be able to use game objects and all that kind of stuff, right? And then this is where this event system came in. So it has the system base, so in system base you're able to use managed classes and all that, and you're able to call these like actions and callbacks and all that kind of stuff. So how does this event system work? So when you shoot like an AI, you destroy it. Right before it destroys it, I create a new entity with a component, an event component. So if I were to look in here in the damage projectile aspect, this is where all the projectiles do damage, right? And I'm able to determine what entity that projectile collided with. So if it collided with my player, which here's where I determine, hey, is this entity a player ship component? And if it is, that means it collided with my player ship. And then here I create an entity, right? I don't destroy the main damage projectile. I don't destroy it yet. I haven't done the logic for player yet. But in here, I create an entity with the player damage event for that. So when the player takes damage, it does what it needs to do. Like I need to update the UI for when it does XP damage or health damage and all that. Like you can't update UI within dot system because it will not let you since it's managed. So you will have to find a way to get data from the dots system and be able to use it outside of it, right? And this is what the dot event system is doing for me. So that's for player damage. When an asteroid gets destroyed, I disable that component so to avoid it from going to this raycast or collision detection, right? You don't want to do any more collision detections for this asteroid because it's already dead. And I create an event for this. I called it that asteroid event. I do the same thing for the AIs. I call it Deadeye event, and for hazards as well. I disable the component and I create a hazard event for that. And in the dot system, it has all the jobs it has to do where it's able to detect entities for that event. So when I find that entity in here, so when you call and initiate this job, it will find all the entities that have a dead asteroid event, and I keep track of it. And then I destroy the entity that I used to create that event. And the same thing for Deadeye event. I find all entities that have a Deadeye event, keep track of it, and I destroy that entity, and so on. Same thing for player damage. Same thing for hit effects. So I know where I need to instantiate the hit effects, right? So it has a hit position. Pick up collected event. So when the player collects it, pick up. I need to increase the XP and destroy the pickup, right? And that hazard event. So when I destroy that, I can use this event to spawn that particle system. And then I schedule the jobs, right? I schedule the job. I keep track of that native list, right? Of that event, and keep track, and then I call the callback after I run this event. I loop through all the items and elements in that native list, and then I call that callback for that particular logic. So I have a callback for pickups, for hit effects, player damage, asteroids, and data AI, and that's it. That's what the system is doing. That's another thing that I added since last time, and I haven't shown to you, and it's a little bit different, almost a little bit different than the rest. And then I have a gameplay system. This handles just somewhere else. It's over here. Let's move it over here. This gameplay system is that manages my gameplay, right? And in here I have all these events that it listens to when it does the dot event system that I just mentioned earlier. It has the power when the power is collected, the player's damage. They do XP damage, update the health, and then you have on hit effects, or you instantiate a game object for that particle, and at that hit position when power collected is collected, you iterate and then increase your XP and all that stuff. When the hazard is destroyed, if it was destroyed, or there's two ways that hazard can be destroyed, and if it's out of bounds or not. If it's out of bounds, that means it destroyed outside, right? The player never destroyed it, right? So the only way you can show explosion stuff is when you destroyed it, and that is when it's not auto bounce. So when that equals false, that means it was destroyed within view, and you instantiate a random explosion effects for it, and then you spawn containers for that. And then I keep track of how many hazards you have destroyed, either if it went out of bounds or because you destroyed it. And then once it reaches 0, then I go to the next wave. And yeah, and then I destroy that entity because you don't need it anymore since that hazard is already dead, right? You need to destroy it. And that's about it. That's how I'm doing this system, guys, since I've changed it since last time. I didn't want to go too much in depth because it's similar to the last video, but yeah, if you guys wanted me to keep going and see how I did it, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if there's a lot of people that are interested in it, I can make a video and just go more in depth into all my classes and all that I created for this. And yeah, we can make this a little learning experience. So yeah, feel free, you guys let me know if you guys are interested in it, and I can show you how it's done. All right, and that's about it. That's all I wanted to show you guys. I still have other things I need to do, so let's go into it. I created a Trello board for it. So that's what I did. I still have some other stuff that I need to do, but so my current progress is breakable. These are the hazards that I created. I still working on it and figuring out how I want to handle that, what type of obstacles is going to be there. There's going to be different types, right? There could be ones that can be moving around and all that. Yeah, so I still need to work into that. Things that I finished already. There's some bugs that I need to look into. UI, I put the UI here for the XP bar, health bar, because I need to figure out how I want to display them. Same thing for level indicator, that probably goes together. I need to do sound effects with UI. I have a leaderboard that I want to eventually do. I don't know. I'll probably do that at the end, actually. I need to figure that out. The logo for this game, the main menu, pause menu, game over stuff, buttons, the UI for the buttons and all that. So I still need to do all that. Sound for background music and sound effects, you know, when you shoot projectiles or hit effects, stuff like that. Visual effects for collecting power containers, or when the player does damage, takes damage, or does damage to other AI ships, right? Power-ups. This is the other powers I mentioned. So I want to create like a magnet, a health pack, maybe add another one that does an additional turret. What did I write in here? So it follows the player on either side, and maybe a max of 3. I don't know. Maybe I create more, because this is in the dot system. You can have a whole bunch of stuff going on, hopefully. There's a shield, and then a slow down time, and then obstacles. It's like moving side to side and other variations of them. I got AI bosses, and then I created this other one for fun, like what will make this game more fun. And I just need to tweak values, right? Their damages, how many projectiles a player ship can shoot, tweak their damages, tweak the health for everything, right? And making sure they feel right, and etc. And that's what I have so far. I'm still pretty sure there's more that I need to do, but this is the minimum. So what I want to work next is definitely the hazards, creating the different types of them, and maybe work some of the power-ups, and AI. So within that range, I don't know, not in any particular order. So for sure would be bosses, power-ups, either all of them or some of them. And what was the other one? I feel like there was the third one. Yeah, maybe it was the UI. I don't remember. I already forgot what I said. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this dev blog, and as always, it's always super long. I really hope that I can make this shorter over time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up if you want. It does help me out a lot. And feel free to share it in other areas for other people to see. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Peace.